Hey, welcome. Evil Penguin David here, and today we're going to be talking about Tomb of Annihilation Prep, my session 16. Uh, uh, Sorry the stream started late, technical difficulties on my end, but we're going to get started. And so my adventurers are going to Camp Vengeance, and I'm very excited because I spent a lot of time reviewing different preps as Camp Righteous is. Camp Vengeance, sorry. It's kind of boring, I guess, in the book. So I wanted to do something that was a little bit different, and so I looked to a lot of YouTube videos and online articles for inspiration, and I think I finally came up with something that's a kind of amalgamation of a few different sources. But I think it's going to work out really well. So it's going to be something that the players have not done before, which is going to be great. I don't think even my experienced players have sort of done this, and I think they'll really like it. Let's get rid of that. I'm not sure. So what I'm gonna do is when they get to Camp Vengeance, let's see. Well, let's talk about this. Let's talk about my notes first and where I'm at. So I'm a little bit over the place. This is my first live broadcast, so let's see. Here are my Obsidian notes, which is what I journal in for my campaigns. If you don't have this, I definitely recommend that you check this out. I have my DM notes here, and you can see I have everything broken down. And then I'll have sessions, and I'll have the player notes of the sessions, which is different than my DM notes. So, is this right here? These sessions are where I actually. This is my main screen during play. Like I read through here, sometimes I have stats in here, sometimes I have encounters in here and stuff like that, or I have links to encounters in here. So this is my main screen. Like I hardly consult the book, I hardly consult anything. I mainly sit on this screen. So one thing I want to do, so my players are getting out of Camp Righteous. They're finishing up. They did the shrine and everything. They got some long rest. I want to start to introduce the Stone Sisters into them. So we introduced a new player into the game that was a capture of the Batari Goblins, and I thought they were going to go after the Batari Goblins, but they decided not to. Much to my surprise, I prepped everything for the Batari Goblins, Yellow Lark, and everything else, and of course they didn't do that, and that's fine. So they're going to take the new player, who has no gear except for what she, like her armor and stuff, her clothes, right? Because the Batari Goblins have them, which I thought would be like an incentive, like, hey, go after the Batari Goblins, and they're like, and she's like, no, I don't need it. I can find a weapon. And I'm like, so she ended up finding a sword, a short sword and a spear in Camp Righteous, left over from when they left, and now they're gonna go to Camp Vengeance, and that's fun. So, but what I want to do is start getting the main quest into their heads. They're far enough along now where I need to start ramping up the pressure of the main quest. So one way I'm going to do this is I'm going to have the Stone Sisters visit the players in dreams. And so they're going to travel by river, and then one of the first things that's going to happen to them is they're just going to be visited by dreams. And I have these text blocks here to read to them like sort of mini scenes. And they all have like a common thread of someone being sewn together, sort of an allusion to the Sewn Sisters. And let's see, a little error here. And then they're going to wake up and they're going to, let's see, they're going to have to make a wisdom saving throw, DC 12 for psychic damage. And if they fail, they get 1d8 of psychic damage. So they're definitely going to know that something serious has happened, right? Then I figure for that, I will reward my players with a couple of days of light-hearted river travel. So I have some non-combat encounters planned for each day. I have a tropical storm that happens that's going to slow them down because I'd like the river travel to last just a little bit longer, to give a little bit more opportunity for role play for my players because of the new player that we have coming in. And so I'd like to get a little bit more opportunity for role play. If they take it or not, it's up to them. If they don't, we'll just continue on. If they do, then great, I'll make space for that. Because there's built into this little thing, there's space, like everybody, because all the guides, River and Flask and Undril, also got dreams. So I had to write little dreams for them or about what they experienced. And then River and Flask are not going to talk about it. And then Undril will talk about it a little bit and say that she saw Camp Righteous being destroyed in her dream by stitched together zombies that were stitched together. So they'll travel around, and so the first thing they'll do after that dream thing is they'll have a little canoe race, like a little friendly canoe race, sort of a lighthearted moment, and then a tropical downpour, and then they'll have let's see, did I have it here? Let's see. Yeah, so then they have a tropical downpour, and then Flask and River will break into like sort of a rain dance and invite the other players to participate. And then they get to Camp Vengeance, and Camp Vengeance is back to sort of non-lighthearted stuff. So Camp Vengeance will be like grim, very grim, and Undril will be very dismayed by this. And because basically the morale at Camp Vengeance is crazy low, and Niles Breakbone has lost his mind. He is just crazy remorseful about the attack on Camp Righteous and the loss of all his soldiers there. He has probably half the fighting force that he did. He is zealot-like in his desire to rid the jungle of undead, even though it is very apparent after Camp Righteous that they're facing really bad odds. They are overwhelmed. They are not prepared for a task that monumental. And they would need a lot more troops for a task of that undertaking. But he does not want to accept that reality, basically. Then there's two. So the book says that there's a couple, it gives you a couple named characters and a couple like veterans and stuff like that. So I want to start using some of these named characters. So there's Salhana, right? Which she's sort of the second in command, and she's definitely she kind of catches up the party before they go in to talk to Brickbone, and is like, just be careful. You know, he's not the same. He's going through some stuff, you know? But she is still loyal to her commander, you know, as with Firebeard, too, which is another named character in there. He's even more so, though. Firebeard is super loyal. So, and then they're going to meet Brickbone, and Brickbone's going to be kind of a dick. So he's going to be, you know, like, what? This is it? You sent me Undril? Like, this is it? I get one reinforcement, like one order of the gauntlet, and a like a ragtag assembly of adventurers. Like, this is my reinforcements, and he's going to be dismissive and short with her, and then they're gonna hear as they're sort of walking around camp too. So we'll see how they react to that. They're probably gonna hate Brickbone right away, which is kind of fine. That's kind of the setup that I'm going for. And then as they're walking around camp, so they'll get there in the morning, and then as they're walking in camp, they will definitely overhear some talk about Rygor, who is missing, who is one of the named NPCs in the book, but he's missing. He was sent out a week ago and hasn't returned. They'll overhear how their rations have been cut. They're low on food, which is what Rygor was sent out for. They'll probably meet Sister Sias, who Undril will be told to report to, and she'll cover that several people have rashes and appear to be wasting away, because I really want to get that death curse going more in the player's mind, so I kind of want more reminders of that. But she's worried that the condition is contagious, which it's not, but she's still got some things about it. So and they'll discover that half of the guards and half of the soldiers basically are infirmed. They're in the medical tents. There's like 2 giant medical tents on the map, and they'll be in the medical tents. And then and then what they have filling that out is just a bunch of tribal warriors, which aren't quite as well equipped. And then they might actually run into what's her name? Oh, get her name. Let's see. Do I have it written down? I don't think okay, I gotta write this down. Yep. This is why I want to do this, because it's good for me to know this stuff, right? So Lorsa Bilwalta. So she's a guide that Camp Vengeance hired, that now the Order of the Gauntlet hired to guide them. And basically she guided them by where they set up Camp Righteous. Niles Breakbone made the decision to set up camp there. She warned against it, but then because Niles Breakbone is crazy and lost his mind, he blames her, Lorsa, for the attack on Camp Righteous. So he's imprisoned her and her 2 helpers. So they're sitting around in the camp. So, and then that's probably going to take most of the day, those sort of role plays, right? Most of the character's day. And then they're going to go to sleep. They're going to be given quarters to go to sleep in. And that's when the fun starts, because that's when we're going to have a full-on zombie siege. Like, a siege. And I've even written I've written a little rules for it to make it faster. So it's just going to be a lot of d20s and no damage rolls. Really, the players can do damage rolls, but everybody else no damage rolls. It's just a bunch of d20 rolls. There's a morale system that I'm going to try to keep track of too. But it's going to be really simple. Like if they hit, they get basically 1 point of damage. Most things give them 1 point of damage. Some creatures give 2 or 3, and like they can take, and each creature has like a thing where they can take so many hits, and then once they take that many hits, they're dead. So the first wave, so I'm calling this the night 1, the Vengeful Assault. And so the first wave is 6 skeleton archers and 10 zombies attack from the southern. And then wave 2 is 10 Amen skeleton archers. So, because I wanted to tie in a little bit of the backstory there. And 1 zombie ogre, and 15 zombies and 1 ghoul. And Rygor appears on the field. Rygor now appears, and he is a wraith, and he is fueled by revenge for he wants Breakbone dead. So he wants to kill Breakbone, and he is riding a zombie ankylosaurus. So I think that's a really cool visual that he's, you have this wraith on top of this zombie ankylosaurus. I think that is just pretty cool. And then they're going to be defeated, and they will retreat, but they will promise to return. So they'll retreat, and then basically the players the next day can do things. So let me back up. I'm sorry. So after this battle, that is, I think, the entire session for the next game, because all this will probably get me to the end of the day. So probably 3 to 4 hours, and hopefully we can finish up this first wave in this first night battle, right? And the players will level up to level 4 between this, because they're going to be, I have a feeling they're going to be really sort of, my players might be a little worried, because it's going to be a tough, like this first night is going to be tough, and they're going to be like facing a lot of odds. Of course, they're going to have help from the NPC guards and stuff like that, and the veterans and all the other characters that are there, all the other NPCs. But I want them to feel encouraged that they'll be able to take on a much stronger wave, which they know. I mean, they're gonna know. You can guess. You can intuitively know that the second night is going to be a stronger thing, right? Especially if you played with me for a while, that's probably coming. So I'm gonna let them level up from level 3 to level 4 then, and then there'll be stuff that they can do during the next day, basically, that will give them advantage or give them advantage or disadvantage in the next zombie attack. Like, so basically, like some of the veterans, like Captain Firebird, is going to ask Raquel to help them reinforce the barricades, and then this is going to be So, and then -2 to DC for any kind of creative solutions that Krakow comes up with to reinforce the barricades, and then so I'll give the barricades an extra +1 AC if it's better. But if a success is no change, and then fail, actually wait, no, success is, oh yeah, that should be different. Success should be a +1 change. All right, and yeah, failure is no change. Okay, and then like Undril will ask Lola and Imani, our new player, to help her organize the troops, and hopefully they'll give a little roleplay speech, which would be great. And I'm gonna judge basically DC based on the speech. And then Brogue and Carcatoon will be asked to scout the horde, and and then they'll get like an advantage if they go out and successfully scout. These would be like many little things that they can do during the day, and if they successfully scout the zombie horde, they'll sort of have an advantage on what's coming. They'll know at least what's in the first wave and be able to prepare for it. Okay, so, and then quickly, I'll just go over this, but we'll cover this more later in my next live session, next prepping. Basically, what they will do is they will, the next session we'll have is the final wave, and Rygor will show up again riding his Ankylosaurus. Let's see. Oh yeah, here we go. And then a bunch more skeletons and ghouls and wights will come out. But also, and I haven't fully set this up yet, so I'm just going to cover it in brief. But also, Raznisi will be on the scene, and they will get their first encounter with Raznisi. He'll be watching the battle and sort of commanding, like they discover that Rygor is just a pawn being used by the Stone Sisters in Raznisi, and then they'll get their first sort of encounter with Wanti soldiers in the mix too, and then the final wave, the final wave of the battle, the big gotcha, the big creature that they have to fight is a zombie T-Rex, which I'm super excited about because it like just vomits zombies out of its mouth, which is fantastic. That's gonna be just absolutely killer. So, all right, so let me work through here. So we're gonna set up some of these map elements. I have some of them set up already. So Breakbone is going to be here. This is, didn't mean to draw that. Okay. So I'll have Silhana and Firebeard talking right there. Basically, so because the players come from here, and so if the players come, yeah, they land here, so they come in the camp from here. Now I redesigned this map too, so I want to point this out. In the book map, there is a pit here. So if you look at my map, you'll see that it looks different than the book. And because there is a pit here. I did not like the pit because I thought it gave, I felt like it gave the players too big of an advantage, because I could see definite ways that they could make that really hard. Like they could reroute water here and fill this moat area, and that really sort of stymies a lot of the attacks, right? And then the zombie T-Rex and all this stuff for the second wave in this pit. Now, if the players are inventive during that day, that they have, right? And they come up with something to recreate that pit, I can go to that map and that's fine. And I don't have a problem with that. But so what I did is I made this on a hill. So Camp Vengeance sits on like a hill now, but there is no pit. There is a creature sort of barricade here, right? There is a palisade here, right? That um, is fairly good. This doesn't really keep out zombies though. This keeps out creatures like dinos and stuff like that. But there's a palisade here, but then they're gonna have to work on repelling the attack without the 10-foot pit sort of thing, because yeah, the zombies would just fall. There was a lot of mechanical issues with that I questioned, and I just felt it really gave a very unfair advantage for any kind of zombie siege to my players. And so um, not that I don't want my players to succeed. I do want them to succeed, but I don't want them to just have it easy. All right, so then we've got these guys here, which are, this is my scout, the guide that's in prison, and then these are her two sort of companions, right? So they'll be in jail, and so the players have an opportunity here to figure out what to do with them. Now, Eric Watson did this too. This is stolen from Eric Watson, and I really like this. Rogue Watson, check out his channel. He does great stuff. I really like this idea of the prisoners, and then they sort of rescued the prisoners, and then the players wanted them as guides, and he had to sort of kind of quickly scramble to figure out how not to include them as guides, because it was sort of worrisome, because he didn't want them as guides, but it worked out in the end. But one thing I do want to do here is, ultimately, I want to get rid of Undril. So I want to drop Undril from the campaign. And my players like Undril, I think. I think they really like Undril. She's been very helpful to them with healing spells, and she's brought several of them back from unconsciousness. She's been a very helpful character, and I think they like her in general because her demeanor and the way I roleplay her is that she's sort of quiet and a little naive sounding, but she's not afraid to mix it up, right? So, and she's always at the ready for whatever the players need from her. And so she's been very helpful to them. I would soon, as I was thinking about that a few days ago, getting rid of Undril, I was also thinking that I really need to get rid of River and Flask, because they are, the way I roleplay them is sort of quiet, right? And River is really the only one who speaks, and she gives them pretty good information on the jungle. Like, they had a monkey encounter, and she gave them information on the right way to deal with that monkey encounter and get out of there without combat. So that was good, and I think the players like that, because she basically said, hey, if you don't want combat, do this. And they did, and they followed her advice, and there was no combat, and there was no problems. But River and Flask are pretty powerful fighters, and they do a lot of damage, and I think I'd like to start having the players do that, you know? So I want to get rid of them. I gotta figure out a way to, like, sort of get them lost, I think. Poor River and Flask. But yeah, I want to figure out a way to get them lost. So, all right, so let's see. The guards. So I'm bringing guards here. Now, most of the guards, so the book says there are down somewhere. Where did I write it down? Nope, not there. Where did I write it down? They're not there. Oh my gosh, such a mess. I wrote this down and then no. I don't know where I wrote this down at. Stupid. Oh, me. Knowing I was about to do this video and then I don't write this stuff. I write it down, but then close the Google document where I have this written down, which makes no sense. All right, so as it's written, they have 8 veterans, so that's going to include the 3 named veterans that I have, which is Rygor, Tahana, and Firebeard. They have 24 guards. Half of my guards are going to be in the medical tent, or almost half. They have 6 acolytes. Sister Sias, which she's going to be kind of a badass, I think. I like the idea of Sister Sias as kind of a badass. 15 tribal warriors, which I think I'm going to cut in half because that's too many. And then I added 1 guide and 2 scouts in prison, which could also help with the fight if they free them. But I'm going to make it pretty clear that Breakbone will lose his shit if they do end up freeing them. But let's see. So I need guards. So let's do guards first. So let's do this. All right. And then paste. All right. That's 8. Let's do 10 in the medical tents. Okay. Oh. So pasting. Let's do 10, 5 each in the medical tents. All right, and then we're going to do 1 on each watchtower here. Okay, and then 2 up here. So that's, let's see, how many is that now? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 16. Okay, so let's have a few that are actually just sleeping, right? Not infirmed, but sleeping. That's 6 more. Okay. So we'll have 1 that's sort of, I would like, yeah, these will probably be the guards here that they hear some stuff from, like about the morale and stuff like that. Of course, there'll be a guard here. There should be a guard mending or like feeding the goats or the sheeps. And then maybe 2 guards here that are sort of helping the boats or doing something. All right, so that's my guards, and then let's see. So Sulhana and Firebeard are just veterans. That's all they are, by the way. So they don't have any, even though they're named characters, they don't have anything special. All right, and Sister Sias should be here. She'd be definitely helping as much as possible there. Let's put, okay, so we'll put 2 acolytes up. Nope, that's not the acolyte. That is my Allosaurus, which I don't need at all. All right, so then we'll put 2 acolytes here, sort of helping out, and then 2 on this tent, right, helping out. And then I'll have 1 over here, fetching water or something. And then so 6 acolytes. Okay. Huh. I don't know. I don't know. Let's have one. Let's have another one here. The Sister Sias is over there, so okay. And then Tribal Warriors. Let's go Tribal Warriors. Okay. So let's bring my Tribal Warriors into this. And they're mostly going to hang out here. So they're mostly going to be doing boat stuff. But let's have one talking with the guard there, one talking with the guard there. That's 4, 5, 6. You can be helping him out. 7. So 8, 9, and sure, 10. Okay, so it'll probably be 10 tribal warriors. 15 seems like a lot. Let's see how beefy these guys are. They're not beefy at all. They have shit armor class. So guards have much better armor class. So they're not beefy, but 10 seems like kind of good fodder, basically. Alright, so let's do my veterans now. So I need 5 more veterans. So there'll be one here. I will do... These are sort of unnamed veterans. Maybe I'll do one here in the tent. And sort of he can exit the tent as the players come in to give some motion. Oh, yeah. One on the toilet. And then... I don't know. Yeah, one up here. One up here. Alright, so that's 5. Okay. And then that's it for my forces. So it's a lot of forces for a single party. It is not a lot of forces for a zombie attack. So now I have this sort of set up already. You can see my tokens here as my waves. So let me see, go back to my waves here. How much do I need the first night? First night, let me make sure I've set this up correctly. 6 skeleton archers. Oh, I got more than that. Hold on. Okay, 6 skeleton archers. I have 7 here. No, I have 6. Okay. 10 zombies. Yeah, 10 zombies. Wow, that's wave 1. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, this is gonna be crazy. Alright. 10 zombies. 1. And so, I don't know about you guys, what y'all do. What I like to do is, I like to set these, like if I know I'm gonna have encounters and stuff, I like to set these tokens on the border of the map, and then I'll just hide them, and then I just have them ready to go. So tell me what you do if there's a better way, but that's what I like to do in Foundry, is just do that. So okay, so I don't have this set up at all. I think this was set up from, because I configured this multiple times. So I went through configuration of this attack like a lot, because I wanted it. It was very difficult to try to figure out how to be. It's a very fine balance, right? It's a very fine balance. I want it to seem crazy, and I want it to be like a pretty big force, but I don't want it to be just like an outright slaughter fest. Because I'm not trying to TPK my characters. So I don't want any of that. So, do I have another token for... I wonder if I have another token for archer, like a zombie archer. No, okay. No, okay. So, you're gonna be the same tokens. Alright. So this is the first wave here, right? And then we'll do the second wave here. So there's 10 Amen archers, which are sort of badass. So they have a little bit better stat. Where are their stats? So they have, all they have is basically a little bit better armor class. So they have like a 15 armor class, I think. So I will set these up. I guess I should do that now. Hold on. Yeah, I should do that now. Yeah, I should do that now. Let me see. Let me go to here. Let me copy that. Maybe I can find another token for them too. It would be good to sort of separate them so they don't look exactly the same. Would be great. So let me copy that. Duplicate. Yep. Copy here. Hopefully I have something that I can do. I don't know. No, that's the same token, right? No, it's not. It's different. Because it's round, but yeah. Okay, hold on. Let me see. First of all, let's call this. Skeleton. All right. Yep. And let's give this a. Oh, shit. I gotta go. Oh, can't just. Oh shit. Okay. Well, how do I change its armor class then? Configure armor. Oh, okay. Equipped armor. Flat. Let's see. Oh, okay. That allows me to do. I don't have to worry about what they're wearing. All right. So, okay. So they have a 15 armor class. So they're better, but they've got just same number of hit points. But I like the idea of having a ranged force, right? That they're going to have to contend with. And I want them at the end of this, especially the second wave, I want them to have used everything in their arsenal of tricks of 4th level players, of characters. Everything. Like, I want them to have 0 spell slots left, 0 abilities left, you know, everything. I want them to have exhausted everything. Because I really want this encounter to sort of be, you know, crazy for them. Okay, so this is on my min skeleton. Let's see if I have. Do I have a? So this is a great little module. So if I have a cooler token for this guy, oh, I do. These guys look cool. Let me see that. Yeah, that looks cool. See? Okay, that looks cool. Let's see what else they have here. I think that's the coolest one. All right, so we'll stick with that. Okay, so that's the coolest token for them. All right, so let's go. Good, now they look different. So if I have regular skeletons on the battlefield, still left when wave 2 comes. Okay, so now let's see, I got that, 10 archers, 1 zombie ogre, zombie ogre, and then this guy is going to be to break down the wall, right? So so basically when the second wave comes, Rygor riding on top of his zombie Ankylosaurus, right, is going to direct this guy here to break down the palisade and punch a hole through the wall. And so that's going to be the threat, the main threat that they're going to have to deal with. Okay. So this is, if not mistaken, White Rygor. Yep. Okay, so that's his token. So I'll put him next to. I'm gonna make him. Oh, do I have them all tied together? Ah, didn't want them to tie together. Ah, damn it. All right, get rid of this. I mean, this is wrong anyway. So, okay. So White Rygor. Let's put him next to his Ankylosaurus. Okay. And then what else do I need? Oh, 15 zombies? Was I, what was that? Was I high when I wrote this? Wow, man. That's crazy. 15 zombies? Oh my gosh. That's insane. Maybe that's too much. Maybe that's too much. Oh my gosh, 15 zombies? Yay, that might be too much. I worry about that. That's a lot. Yike. Okay, that's a lot. That's really a lot. Yeah. That's so many. I worry about that. Oh my gosh. Well, all right. Let me do it because I wrote it, but I might adjust that. Okay. So these guys are one hit. So, and there's not going to be their undead fortitude. I'm not doing that. So it's too much to keep track of. And like I said, like basically a lot of this is going to happen in mass. Right? So I'm going to roll to hit for all my guards. They're going to, if they get above, oh, well, yeah, okay, 15 zombies because the zombies are going to be mowed through. So actually, they're 2 hits. So the zombies are 2 hits. So if they roll above 8 to attack, then they are going to score 1 hit, and they only need to score 2 hits on a zombie to have them dead. So yeah, and the skeletons are 1 hit. So yeah, the skeletons will be 1 hit. So don't worry about the hit points here, basically. So 1 hit is 10 hit points of damage, essentially. If that's if you want to do the conversion, but it doesn't quite work out. So, and I've just rounded this. So hit points are rounded into tenths. So into base 10, right? So White Rygor is hit point 50, so he requires 5 hits. Ankylosaurus Zombie requires 7 hits to be knocked out, right? And then that's how that goes. I'm going to have to do a cheat sheet for me here. Oh, do I have this in? Let's see, do I have this? Yeah, okay, I have the mechanics listed here. So let me just flip over to this screen real quick so you can see sort of the mechanics that I've got. So these are different. I'm gonna have to get these to match here, but basically, streamline mechanics. So groups of 5, right? 2 veterans, 3 warriors. Barricade durability has 3 hit points. Acolytes heal a flat 4. Let's see, that might change. These are goals that I can give each one of the players during the siege. Yeah, and so if 3 or more players are attacking a creature or whatever, they get a +1 to their attack rolls. Right. So I need to write this out more specifically how this works. But essentially, things are done in mass. So I will roll a large set of d20s, depending on initiative order. I'll roll a large set of d20s and determine out of those rolls how many of the opposing side die. And then if it comes, and then the other side, it's the same thing, except for when they're dealing specifically with player characters, and the player characters will be rolling to hit, and then basically rolling damage, and then I'll keep track of it that way. So that's that. And I have a different, I've got to organize this better, because I told you I was back and forth on how my wave structure was going to be. Oh, this is for, oh, okay, this is for, yeah, this is for later. I actually have 6 veterans, 2 named NPCs. Yeah. Now 15 guards, right, is, yeah, basically what I have left. So I just have to write this better. I was going back and forth. See, I have a zombie Dionysus here. And then, yeah, so I've changed this a lot. And he's not a reverent commander. Like, that was something I came up, I was testing initially. There's not 4 waves here. Yeah, there's 3 waves in the final assault. But I'll change this up. I gotta just got a mental note to myself to make sure those get changed up. Oh, there you go. Okay. Okay. So that is. Oh wait. Sorry, I'm a little bit over the place. So, what's this called? Oh, I mislabeled this. This is actually session 15. It's supposed to be session 15, not session 16. I will have to change the name of this video in the replay. Okay. So, where is competition 1? So then I need a ghoul. I'm gonna need a ghoul here. Yeah, I'm gonna really have to make sure before I go through this encounter, I really have to go through, make sure all my sources match, and make sure that I have a way of explaining the rules of this siege to them effectively. Yeah. Okay, so that's it, right? I replaced a lot of this with zombies, lower hitting guys, so I took out a lot of the badass guys that I had initially. And the only real badass guy, the 2 are the zombie ogre, which they're gonna have to concentrate on, and this ghoul. And let's see, that's a 2-hitter, just a little bit better armor class. I shouldn't have a problem with that. So, yeah, but that's gonna be the attack, and they're going to come. So let's see. This one. Yeah, what I wanted to do here was I wanted to move this around. So this force comes from the west. Right? And then I think he'll come sort of from the southwest here. So, yeah. Let me separate these so they don't get confused here. I want to keep these separate so I don't get it confused. So, nope. I need to do that. There we go. Tokens on top of tokens. That's good. All right, separate these a little bit. Okay. So yeah, that's what I want. I want a sort of. I definitely want. This is gonna be when they're third level. I definitely want this to be a hard battle for them, and a battle where they're going. How are we gonna survive a second wave? Because these guys will be injured. There's half the fighting force injured. Now, some of these guys are going to heal up before the second wave, and then a few of them, though, are for the second wave are going to become undead, become zombies themselves, because that's the way the death curse works in my world, that they rise up. And so there's going to be two of them in the medical tent in the night of the second wave that happens to, because of the, and like I'm going to explain it lore wise or mechanically wise, is because of the presence of Rosnisi there in the second wave. And so he's going to basically sit on one of these hills up here, right, and look through and basically oversee, but he's not going to get involved in the battle at all. He'll never be involved in the battle. I don't want my characters, they're not prepared. Well, maybe in the book they can, because he's pretty weak in the book, but yeah, I don't want my characters messing with him right now. Where's do I have a token for Rosnisi? Oh wait, I have Tomb of Annihilation actors, and then let's look for Rosnisi. So yeah, there's Rosnisi. So that would be crazy if he just appeared in the middle of the camp. That would be nuts. But yeah, he's gonna he'll be over here, right? I'll put him someplace safe, probably, where he can view the battlefield and make his presence known, that he's sort of there. And this ties into one of my characters' backstories. Actually, two of my characters' backstories a little bit. Because my new player, Amani, her character is a paladin, and she is a paladin anthropologist, which is kind of cool, who has studied the lore of Cholt, and a native Choltian. I allowed a native Choltian because when I initially set the campaign, I didn't, but since she was joining later, I said, yeah, let's allow a native Choltian. And also I thought her backstory idea was really cool, and so I made an exception to my rule of no native Choltians in the campaign as player characters. But I made an exception. There's always a chance to make exceptions to the rules. Okay, so this is the layout. I'm very excited about this. I will do that offline, writing out the mechanics of this, and then I will cover the mechanics that I end up using in detail, the siege mechanics that I end up using in detail on a future video after I play tested them, because I'm not sure how they're going to work out, but I think they'll be good. I think they will streamline this sort of battle, because as it is, we have what, 50, maybe 60 combatants on the field. So yeah, that's a lot. And so that's something the players haven't done before, I think, is have that many sort of combatants on the field. And I think that's kind of cool. I think it makes the world seem bigger, because it's not just like, you know, every encounter is just a few people. And it's like, yeah, I mean, you're in the city, but like, how many people are actually part of an encounter in the city, right? Even they had some encounters in the city, and it was just like a couple of ruffians and like them. And, you know, I think this way, it's like, yeah, you get a sense for like, okay, the world is big and populated and scary. And I think that'll be really interesting. I'm excited to see what my players do. So we're going to play next Sunday is our play. I will do a session recap on Sunday, next Sunday at 4 p.m. And I'll do another live stream with a session recap. My 4 p.m. Pacific time. So a session recap with the mechanics, with the siege mechanics that I used. And I will also, well, I'll probably just do the recap, and I'll save the setup for the next week, the setup of actually session 16, which this should be session 15. Yeah, but I'm excited. This is going to be fun. The players are not ready for this. I'm very excited about this whole sort of dynamic. I'm excited about them seeing Rosnisi for the first time, who is going to be, Rosnisi and the Stone Sisters are going to be constant, sort of a constant foil for them. The Stone Sisters obviously cannot be redeemed at all. Rosnisi can. Rosnisi is a tragic tale, and there are roleplay opportunities with Rosnisi about how the players want to do it, which we'll get to much later, but I kind of want to set it up now. I want Rosnisi in their head now, early on, while they're still far away from Rosnisi. I mean, we're talking maybe another, 15 to 20 sessions before they ever really, get to that part. And have like some full-on encounters with like the main house of Wanti. But I really want to set up Rosnisi early. I really want to introduce him. I want to introduce the Stone Sisters. I'm going to continue to introduce them through dreams, and their dreams are going to get more intense. But yeah, I'm very excited about how this could possibly go. Should be fun. I'm definitely excited for my players. I'm excited to run this. Hopefully it is not just a total mess. Hopefully it's not just a cluster. I don't, and it's like smooth. I might playtest this a little bit, actually. Myself. Just do a scenario with me playing both parts, just to see how streamlined this is, because I am worried about bogging down the game. So I want to make sure this is actually very streamlined and goes quickly, because I do not want this to turn into a long sort of slugfest of rolling lots of dice, and just kind of wading through this. And also I worry about balance right now, looking at all the combatants on my side on the field. They're actually outnumbered. So they outnumber my Camp Vengeance people. I mean, without the player characters there, but the player characters do add a lot, obviously. The player characters are probably the strongest there. So but I do worry about balance. So hopefully that's balanced. I'm gonna think about that, make sure my numbers are right. But then I'll do a little play test, a simulation of the siege mechanics that I've got, and make sure that's gonna work. All right. So that'll probably do it for me in session 15 prep. Sorry about misnaming that. Problem is because because basically session 15 and session 16, the reason that happened is because I'm basically prepping them at the same time, because from my perspective as a DM, those sessions are the same because they basically has the same stuff. It's one big continuous scene in my head. So but they're coming up on session 15. We are playing next week at 10 a.m. We play in person, bi-weekly. We were supposed to play this Sunday, but 2 of my players are sick. And since it's an in-person game, being sick is actually a thing that you can call out for, because nobody wants to get sick. So, and then, but everybody's down for next Sunday. Hopefully, that means that we have another session before Christmas, after the session next week. So I'm hoping that happens. It's going to be tough, but hopefully bi-weekly here. But I'll let you know if things change. I will post up my schedule in my YouTube channel, but expect next Sunday at 4 p.m. I will be streaming again. And I look forward to seeing you there. Thank you very much, and have a great day. Oh, not that. Huh.